lovely and darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm reviewing Beauty by Robin McKinley. This is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, so it's very fairy tale-esque. It also feels a bit like a historical romance and kind of has a gothic feel going on with the castle. I really enjoyed this book, but I think it would also have to be a really bad retelling of Beauty and the Beast for me not to love it, since it's my favorite fairy tale. This book follows pretty closely the traditional Beauty and the Beast fairy tales from France, although adding a lot more to it because it's a full-length novel. The rest of this is kind of pretty much spoilery-ish. I'm gonna try to avoid any major spoilers, but at the same time it's Beauty and the Beast, so mild spoilers if you're super sensitive to them, I guess. So our main character in this book is Honor, although she goes by Beauty, and that's pretty much what she's called throughout the entire book. She has two older sisters. Beauty and her sisters are incredibly different. Both of her older sisters are kind of the traditional girly girl that is expected of them. Like, expected to be in that society. Like, they want to get married, they want to fall in love, they want to be comfortable. I like the fact that they're more worried about marrying somebody that they actually like and are in love with, which is awesome because that kind of very girly girl, if she was particularly more worried about wealth, would have been super obnoxious to me. But both of her sisters are, they both fall in love with one guy who maybe isn't quite as rich as the others and like are dedicated to them, and I particularly love that about the sisters. I like the sisters in this story. But Beauty is my favorite character. She kind of bucks the norm in this book. She's not quite as pretty as her sister. She's not ugly, but she's kind of just, I guess, plain. She also is the clever one out of the three of the sisters. She's much more bookish. She wants to be a scholar, even though that's not really something a girl can do at that time. She's a bit more boyish also. Like, she isn't afraid of hard work and doing very practical things. So when the family falls on hard times, Beauty's out there cutting wood and farming and doing all this hard labor stuff, helping the blacksmith, whereas her sisters are taking care of the household and the cooking and stuff. Beauty does a little bit of, but not quite as much because there's two sisters versus just her. She's also willing to put like her family's needs above her own. The whole family loves each other very much. Like, it's a very supportive family. They really care for each other, which I also enjoyed in the story. And we get a lot of look at her family background, to the point that the Beast doesn't show up till like halfway through this book, and I was actually kind of like, as I got farther into the book, was getting antsy and worried. I'm like, where's the Beast? It's Beauty and the Beast. But he does show up, so it's all good. The story follows the traditional Beauty and the Beast story. The father gets lost in the woods, comes across this castle. It's magic. Things just suddenly appear. He gets a warm fire and food. His horse gets fed. It's all great, except he tries to steal a rose because Beauty asked for it. And then he encounters the Beast, who's mad at him because, like, I gave you all this other stuff, and now you're going to steal this rose from me also. And he wants to keep the father prisoner. The father convinces the Beast to allow him to go home and say goodbye to his family one last time. And the Beast agrees. He says that somebody has to come back. So either one of his daughters or the father needs to go back to the Beast castle and like payment for this rose that was stolen. Beauty volunteers to go to save her family. So the castle feels much darker in this story, where there's like, there aren't servants that you can see. There's like this wind whispering in the background, and things kind of move on their own, and it's creepy a little bit. So it feels strange, and the Beast himself doesn't seem like such a monster. Like, he isn't so bad other than keeping Beauty against her will, and then every night at dinner he asks her if she'll marry him. And there's never a moment where they like hate each other. It's just the slow build where they kind of are starting to get to know each other. Beauty dreads the question, will you marry me, every night. And as their relationship progresses, the reason why she's dreading that question changes. I like the Beast as a character, and his relationship with Beauty, I like that set up a lot better than some of the other Beauty and the Beast stories. Of course, it could be the fact that it's a novel and we just get to see more of their characters. There's a bit of a pacing issue with the end of the book, considering how um, it's not that the rest of the book goes slowly, it's just that it's very in depth and it's kind of this gradual thing, whereas the end of the book, it just kind of happens really fast and that felt strange. So I kind of wanted the end of the book to go longer. Like, I would have loved to spend several more chapters with them getting to know each other at the end and maybe seeing what happens with their relationship afterwards. I totally would have been fine with that. I just didn't want this book to end, basically. I really enjoyed this book. It's definitely 4 stars. I would totally reread this. Started rereading it a bit, to be honest, when I went to like review it. Went back to the beginning and just kind of got sucked in again. Um, and I read it within, I think, I read it in 2 days the first time also. Peace out. I love you guys and keep reading. Bye.